Hi, You Can Heal family. Good morning and welcome back to another reading of the Old Testament. My name is Shena Major and we've been reading through the Old Testament. Today we're going to look at Numbers 29 and 30. And it's been a while since I've been consistently posting this Old Testament, but I'm going to get back in the saddle and continue reading through this book with you and complete this assignment God has given me. I have been in the Word and reading, just in my own Bible time. But sometimes I need a break from the YouTube streets. It's a lot. It's a lot for me because I'm not a social media person whatsoever. So this definitely challenges me. But it's important that we spend our time together. Now, I hope this microphone isn't hitting the table. Let me move it over there. Hopefully, that's a little bit better. But I've got some hot tea. It's, what time is it? It's going on 9:30. Bren just got to bed. Bren's Blessing's over here in the living room, scrolling on her phone, I think, doing laundry. But anywho, let's start our day off with Jesus. The Festival of Trumpets, Numbers chapter 29. The Festival of Trumpets will be celebrated on the appointed day in early autumn each year. You must call a solemn assembly of all the people on that day, and no regular work may be done. On that day you must present a burnt offering very pleasing to the Lord. It will consist of 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defects. These must be accompanied by grain offerings of choice flour mixed with olive oil, 5 quarts with the bull, 3 quarts with the ram, and 2 quarts with each of the 7 lambs. In addition, you must sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering to make atonement for yourselves. These special sacrifices are in addition to your regular monthly and daily burnt offerings, and they must be given with their prescribed grain offerings and drink offerings. These offerings are given to the Lord by fire and are very pleasing to Him. The Day of Atonement. 10 days later, you must call another holy assembly of all the people. On that day, the Day of Atonement, the people must go without food, and no regular work may be done. You must present a burnt offering very pleasing to the Lord. It will consist of 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defects. These offerings must be accompanied by the prescribed grain offerings of choice flour mixed with olive oil, 5 quarts of choice flour with the bull, 3 quarts of choice flour with the ram, and 2 quarts of choice flour with each of the 7 lambs. You must also sacrifice 1 male goat for a sin offering. This is in addition to the sin offering of atonement and the regular daily burnt offering with its grain offering and their accompanying drink offerings. The next section is the Festival of Shelters. Verse 12. 5 days later, you must call yet another holy assembly of all the people, and on that day no regular work may be done. It is the beginning of the Festival of Shelters, a 7-day festival to the Lord. That day you must present a special whole burnt offering by fire, very pleasing to the Lord. It will consist of 13 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defects. Each of these offerings must be accompanied by a grain offering of choice flour mixed with olive oil, 5 quarts for each of the 13 bulls, 3 quarts for each of the 2 rams, and 2 quarts for each of the 14 lambs. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular daily burnt offerings with its accompanying grain offering and drink offering. Verse 17. On the second day of this 7-day festival, sacrifice 12 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by the prescribed grain offerings and drink offering. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular daily burnt offering with its accompanying grain offering and drink offering. On the third day of the festival, sacrifice 11 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by the prescribed grain offering and drink offering. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering with its accompanying grain offering and drink offering. On the fourth day of the festival, sacrifice 10 young bulls, 2 ram, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by the prescribed grain offering and drink offering. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular daily burnt offering with its accompanying grain offering and drink offering. Verse 26, on the 5th day of the festival, sacrifice 9 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by the prescribed grain offering and drink offering. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular daily offering, which is accompanied grain offering and drink offering. All right, verse 29. Let me sip some tea. Excuse me. On the 7th day of the festival, sacrifice 8 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by the prescribed grain offering and drink offering. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular daily burnt offering with its accompanying grain offering and drink offering. On the 7th day of the festival, sacrifice 7 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by the prescribed grain offering and drink offering. You must also sacrifice 1 male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular daily burnt offering with its accompanying grain offering and drink offering. On the 8th day of the festival, call all the people to another holy assembly. You must do no regular work on that day. You must present a burnt offering very pleasing to the Lord. It will consist of 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defects. Each of these offerings must be accompanied by the prescribed grain offering and drink offering. You must also sacrifice 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular daily burnt offering with its accompanying grain offering and drink offering. You must present these offerings to the Lord at your annual festivals. These are in addition to the sacrifices and offerings you present in connection with vows or as free will offerings, burnt offerings, grain offerings, drink offerings, or peace offerings. So Moses gave all these instructions to the people of Israel, just as the Lord had commanded. And that concludes chapter 29. So God was very specific in what needed to take place and how. And I love how it kept saying it was pleasing to the Lord. He likes it when we do things His way. I guess that's my big takeaway from this. He likes it when we do things the way He's laid out, because remember, He's got a plan for us all. He really does. So I want to look at verse 30. It's not that long. It's called the regulation of vows. And we're still in Numbers. Now Moses summoned the leaders of the tribes of Israel and told them, "This is what the Lord has commanded. A man who makes a vow to the Lord or makes a pledge under oath must never break it. He must do exactly what he said he would do. If a young woman makes a vow to the Lord or a pledge under oath while she is still living at her father's home, and her father hears of the vow or pledge but says nothing, then all her vows and pledges will stand. But if her father refuses to let her fulfill the vow or pledge on the day he hears of it, then all her vows and pledges will become invalid. The Lord will forgive her because her father would not let her fulfill them." Verse 6, "Now suppose a young woman takes a vow or makes an impulsive pledge and later marries. If her husband learns of her vow or pledge and raises no objections on the day he hears of it, her vows and pledges will stand. But if her husband refuses to accept her vow or impulsive pledge on the day he hears of it, he nullifies her commitments, and the Lord will forgive her. If, however, a woman is a widow or is divorced, she must fulfill all her vows and pledges no matter what. Suppose a woman is married and living in her husband's home when she makes a vow or pledge. If her husband hears of it and does nothing to stop her, her vow or pledge will stand. But if her husband refuses to accept it on the day he hears of it, her vow or pledge will be nullified and the Lord will forgive her." Okay, so her husband, verse 13, "So her husband may either confirm or nullify any vows or pledges she makes to deny herself. But if he says nothing on the day he hears of it, then he is agreeing to it. If he waits more than a day and then tries to nullify a vow or pledge, he will suffer the consequences of her guilt." These are the regulations the Lord gave Moses concerning relationships between a man and his wife and between a father and a young daughter who still lives at home. Well, that's interesting to me. So, I don't really understand it, but apparently the young woman is still living with her dad. She's making these vows or promises, and it sounds like it's up to the father or the husband to decide if what she's vowing is legit. So I don't know, let's take a deep breath and know that it's in the Bible. So God put it there for a reason. You can heal family. He sure did. So I hope you enjoyed listening to the Word of God being read, and there's always something to take away. And it's just good just to hear the Bible out loud. It does increase our faith, so we can thank God for that. I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll set these videos up to start posting again at 7 a.m. so we can start our day together. I love you. You can heal family. I really do. I hope you had a beautiful resurrection day yesterday, and you're ready just to continue the meaning of the resurrection throughout the week. Jesus is risen. He loves you, and always remember, He lives on the inside of you. Amen. We'll talk soon. Bye.